Welcome back to the Maker Show. My name is Jeff Krupke, and today we're going to go ahead and look at an intro to Repetir. It's a 3D driver program for a 3D printer. It's one of the ones that Bob suggests in his manual. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at it. This is going to be an intro to Repetier. Hi, welcome to the course Introduction to Repetier. This is the program that the Bob CNC 3D printer uses. Was pretty new. I actually was totally new to 3D printing when I first started, and this is the one that it was talking about using. So the firmware for this one is also Repetir firmware. So this is the program. If you want to use the firmware that's on the printer right now, this is the program that you're going to have to be using. So it comes in a couple different flavors. We have the host, which is the program that you'll load your design into, do scaling, do manual control of the printer, that kind of thing. Repetir firmware is what's on the board pre-installed. Although I ended up copying over it and having some trouble with the firmware, so I can't verify that the firmware that came on the board was correct or not. It probably would have started right up, but foolish me, I ended up writing over the firmware, so I had to learn how to do it, but I figure making mistakes is the best way to learn. So Repetir Server. This is a pretty cool program. If you have multiple 3D printers, you can use this to talk to them over a network. It handles multiple builds. It's pretty handy for a production environment if you're getting into that. And also this program is totally open source and free. So that's another big thing in its favor. But because it's free, you're going to have to deal with a little bit of not very good support on it. Well, basically no support other than the community, and just, you know, they run off donations. So for sure, if you feel like giving some money or donating to them, they're an open source project. They do have some technical support. According to their website, but I'm sure it's like web support. And you can also get custom versions made for your own 3D printer company if you're making a lot of them that is customized to your printer, and you know, you can load it up on a disk and send it with the printer, kind of thing. So it's I don't know how much that costs. I'm sure there's some cost involved in that. 3D websites. This is I'm sure just a list of websites that you can download 3D content. Let's see what About Us is. Okay, they're from Germany. Sure they speak English in their communications. I'm sure it's not any problem to email them with questions. And it doesn't say much about their licensing on this page, but so far they seem to be it's been a pretty good software package all in all. I've done a lot of learning about it and getting to know it. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to download the host program. We'll check the overview of it. So in this program, they combine in several different slicing options. two that are programs that are loaded onto the computer, and one that is a cloud version that basically sends your design out to the cloud to a slicer, which if you had a complicated design might be the way to go. I haven't experimented with any of the other ones. I've just used the slicer with the 3 in it. It's open source, I believe, also out of Germany, and they've been really good in moving along the 3D printer revolution as we go in. So once you place the object on the build platform right here in the program, you can scale it right here. You can rotate the model. You can scale the maximum size of the printer. It'll know or go over configurations and stuff like that of the program, as well as configuration of the slicer program, which are both important aspects of the 3D printing. Preview, once it does the slicing, you can look at it layer by layer, see if you have a small print, whether that's going to be feasible, what it's going to do. And you can print directly from the host via USB. That's how this printer is set up, or TCP connection, or via SD card, or via Repetir Server. So a lot of different options in order for that. So now the firmware on the board, this is the firmware that's been loaded onto the Arduino that's located on the printer itself. Basically, they have a setup program in here that you can go through, and you give it all your dimensions. It's like a web-based setup program to get basically customize your firmware to be exactly read into it. I've had a little problem trying to use other config.h files, which is loaded, is basically the configuration section of the firmware. It's basically what sets all the values for the firmware and tells it about the printer and things like that. So it's important to get it right. Then server is simply a program that runs in a web page, and it runs kind of in the background to your computer on a local hub. So it's really good if you have more than one printer. So if you had, say, 10 printers and you wanted to be sure everything was going right, check different times, that sort of thing, you can see exactly on the dashboard here how much free disk space you have on your drive that's running the server, the printer, whether there's a print job running. There's a way to add a webcam, so you can have a picture of it, either for recording videos, printing videos for YouTube, or simply just seeing if the print is going okay from a remote location. It allows you to name the printer, so that's great, because it's hard to keep track of them if you have a lot of different printers. So it'll line them up, it'll tell you how much time, how much filament they've used, what they're printing, a pictorial picture of the 3D model that's being printed out. Let's go one more here. Yeah, so basically it'll give you some temperature graphs, some other stuff. be able to look at the G code, make any adjustments if you need to make adjustments to the G code in any way for a certain printer. You'll be able to set it up, including your webcam here. The webcam requires a web address to send it to, like some kind of file server that needs to be set up in order to that work. Global settings, you can push messages. So if you you have a print running and you want to push a message out to your phone, says that, hey, the print's done, you can come get it off anytime you want. That's really helpful. And these are some price calculations. I haven't used this much, but that's really cool. So basically it's taking into account the cost of the PLA or the different material you're using, the cost per hour for running the printer. That's a great feature. You can create a new user, so you can have multiple operators working on the print room per se, and you could have them log in and keep track of how many prints they did and how they were doing, that sort of thing. You can also flash the firmware from this program. Maybe we'll experiment with doing that. I need to reflash the memory on my printer right now, so that's a possibility. I might try that, show you that to you guys. Finally, you're able to do the manual control of the printer, and this looks like it's optimized for touchscreens. If you're using a touchscreen Windows 8.1 computer, Windows 10 computer, something like that. So hope you like this introduction to Repetier product line, and we will go in depth in each of those projects. Thanks. Thanks for watching that. I did look into the licensing a little bit more. The host program is totally free, but server or suggested donation, and server, if you want to buy the commercial version, the pro version, is just $50. So a really affordable program all the way around. So I hope you really enjoyed that and you learned something. I certainly did. And if you could, comment, like, and hopefully see you again. Thank you.